Alright, so what's good, y'all? So this is a new series on my channel that I'm starting up called Next Up. In this series, I'm going to talk about artists that have between like 50k and a million monthly listeners on Spotify, and talk about them and their careers, my favorite songs by them, and if I think they're going to blow up or not, and maybe get them like a tiny bit more attention from some of y'all. So the artist I'm going to be talking about in today's video is YSN Flow. YSN Flow has been one of my favorite smaller artists for a while now, and he's got a lot of songs that landed on my playlist, which is in the description below. Alright, so just a really quick rundown. He blew up back in 2019 with a few singles that gained millions of streams on various platforms and millions of views on YouTube. So before I spoil too much about his career, let's get into where it all started. YSN Flow, real name Cameron Ford, was born on January 17th, 2004 in Cleveland, Ohio. And growing up, he wasn't even that big into listening to music. In an interview with Dirty Glove Bastard, he said growing up in Cleveland, there was a lot of violence, and most people didn't want to see others win. Even on his come-up, Flow got threats from people in his city. When he first started rapping, he went by the name K-Flow with an H. But over time, he kept changing the name, one of his old names being Lil Flow, and then he settled on YSN Flow. Flow said when he started his music career was pretty bad and his mom wasn't even sure if it was for him at first. He started to make music and doing freestyles with his friends during middle school. After this, he started recording when he was 12 to 13 years old and using GarageBand to make all his music. And he even made some of his own beats, which he called trash as well. But he kept grinding and eventually got good, although he didn't and still doesn't rap for the fame or money. It's about putting out and recording what he's feeling at the time, which is a great thing to hear. So many artists just clout chase and do everything for clout, which is why we have artists like 6ix9ine and Lil Pump that don't have any quality music and just clout chase all the time. When he started music, he had more of a traditional rap style that you see most like rappers start with. But when he started blowing up, he had a more melodic style. Not completely singing, but more melodic rap that you see from a lot of other mainstream artists. He got the inspiration for the style from NBA YoungBoy, and he started taking music seriously at about 15 years old after his friend YSN Marlowe convinced him to take it more seriously. Marlowe was actually the one who got him to start rapping because Marlowe's dad was a rapper. After he started dropping more music, like I said, he had a more traditional rap style, but then he released his first melodic song, which became his first relatively big song. And I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure this song was running up to Squap, which has a combined 500,000 streams on Spotify and SoundCloud and 140k on YouTube, and it dropped in May of 2018. Of course, it's doing better now after he's gotten bigger, but it's still really good for one of his first songs on all platforms. And the song isn't that bad either. After this, he dropped Flexed Up with Greggy Westside and Nappy Naps, which didn't appear on SoundCloud or YouTube, but it dropped on Spotify. The features on the song were not great, but the song still did put up pretty good numbers with 440k streams on Spotify. So he dropped 3 songs, all with a few 100,000 to a million streams in 2019, but then he dropped his hit song Want Beef, which would change his life forever. So Flow recorded Want Beef back in November of 2018 and didn't like the song that much at first and wasn't even going to drop it. Although his friends convinced him that this was the one, he finally gave in, and he had no idea this was really going to be the one. First day of the song gained 1k, then 2k, then 3k, and these are great numbers for him at the time, but after a few days the views started to reach the tens of thousands, then the hundreds of thousands. As the song kept getting more popular, people started to make reactions to the music. Big channels like Snort That Dude, Old Zay, and more made standalone reactions while other big creators reacted to it in compilations. This only brought more attention to the music video, and keep in mind Flow was only 15 at this time when the song was blowing up, so he was a few months older than I am, which is just insane to think about. So Flow made sure to follow up the success with the song Shoes Tied, which dropped just a month later after Want Beef. The song proved he wasn't just going to be a one-hit wonder, which you see a lot of artists do when they go viral, especially like Flow did at such a young age. The song has a combined 5.5 mil on Spotify and SoundCloud and 2.5 mil on YouTube. After this, Flow performed at Lyrical Lemonade's Summer Smash Festival and blew out the mic by putting the mic next to the speaker, which led to him performing with NLE Chop on one of the main stages. So what could have been a big accident turned into him getting onto an even bigger stage. Flow continued his hot streak with Want Beef 2.0 later that July, which has a combined 15 million streams and 6.5 million views. People on YouTube made even more reaction videos to this track, which brought even more attention to Flow. Even though he had so much success at such a young age, Flow was never satisfied, which I'll get back to later. He appeared in an episode of The Coastline on Genius, where Machine Gun Kelly was really rocking with the song and even complimented Flow's voice control. Around the same time, though, Flow was beefing with Lil Mosey. They were at an event which I assumed was Lyrical Lemonade Festival, and it was. So Mosey pretty much said he deserved a artist 10 over YSN Flow, and then from there they fought in DMs, and Flow dissed him in IG Live. Apparently, Mosey got him banned from the Breakaway Music Festival as well, and then Flow called Mosey ugly, which escalated the beef even more. Although they did eventually squash the beef. Right after this, though, Flow went to jail for a short time, and some weird guy in jail had Flow's name in a journal saying he was going to kill him. But the guy got snitched on, and then he stayed in his cell for 23 hours straight because he got KSR, which, like I said, is just just pretty much going into your cell for an extended amount of time. So Flow continued to drop songs on Spotify and SoundCloud that got hundreds of thousands and even millions of streams. None as big as Want Beef 2.0, but then he dropped his song Illegal. Can I even say that? Illegal Guns. This is his third biggest song to date and one of his best in my opinion, with just under 5 million views and 17 million streams. This song showed he could consistently drop bangers and only brought him more success. He closed out 2019 with NBA Flow and Dirt, which were both successful, each hitting with 1 mil and almost 3 mil on Spotify. So Flow opened up 2020 with his tape Flow Season in April, which is a great project and had a lot of success. 5 of the 12 songs have over 1 million streams, and some songs put up big numbers on YouTube. The project also had his first features, or mainstream features, one with Lil TJ on Bad Vibe and one with Quando Rondo on the Want Beef remix. The other feature was Justin Rari on Blast Off. You'll probably be seeing Rari on this series at some point soon because he's a great artist as well. But back to Flow. So YSN Flow continued dropping after this with SoundCloud and YouTube exclusives that were pretty successful, including one of his biggest songs on SoundCloud with No Church on Sundays. But his next single on all platforms was Back From My Ends with Melvani, who you'll probably see on the series as well. They dropped Back From My Ends, which was Flow featuring Melvani, and City Rolling, which was Melvani featuring YSN Flow on the same day. Both songs were successful and have well over 1 million combined streams on all platforms. Just a few weeks later, he dropped Social Distance on SoundCloud and YouTube, and then a few weeks later, he dropped Blow It All with Osaibe. I definitely just butchered that. But this song was also pretty successful with almost 1 mil on Spotify. After this, Flow took a 2-month break and came back with a third installment in the Want Beef series with Want Beef 3.0. This was the lead single for his collab project with producer Iceberg called Long Story Short that dropped in mid-November of 2019. This project would have 3 pretty successful songs with Want Beef 3.0, which has over 1 million streams, Mud Brother, which has almost 1.8 mil on Spotify, and 1 mil on YouTube, and Playin' It Cool, which is his best song in my opinion. This is a big moment for Flow, as not only had he put out a pretty successful project, but it was with Iceberg, who has produced for a lot of mainstream artists. He produced Pop Out with Polo G and Lil TJ that is 5 times platinum. He's produced other songs for Lil TJ, Rod Wave, YG, Young Blue, I think that's how you say it, Blockboy JB, and NLE Choppa, and even more artists. After this, Flow waited until January to start dropping again. But when he did, the songs were still successful. Throughout 2021, he's dropped 5 singles, all of which have done well in at least one platform, most doing well on multiple platforms. His first single of 2021, On The Way, or OTW, which dropped in January, has almost 750k streams. Bottom Boy, which dropped in February, has over 600k on YouTube. Money Man, which dropped a month later, has almost 500k on Spotify. Do It Again featuring Doughboy and his next song Pac-Man, which dropped in April and May, are both in his top 5 on Spotify right now. This shows that he still has success, but the next step in his career has to be elevating himself to the next level of popularity. He has been on the XXL 10 spot voting the last 2 years, which shows he's getting some attention. So YSN Flow is super smart with his money. So he has or had a record label, L462 Entertainment, at 15, where he signed artists like YSN Jo, YSN Marlo, and YSN Ort. Although I'm not sure if the label is still active, as Ort is the only one with music still being distributed through L462, while Jo and Marlo look to be independent but still have YSN in their names, so it's more likely that they're a collective group rather than like a record label. But I'm not 100% sure about that. He's also already into investing in properties at 16 and 17 years old, so he bought an investment property in mid-2020. He also makes sure to connect with fans through hearted comments and replies to a lot of the comments on his YouTube videos. This gets people to develop a connection with him as an artist and make them want to go back to his music. He also knows nothing is guaranteed in the music industry, and funny enough, he doesn't believe in the whole next up thing, which is the name of this series, but I agree that you gotta make your spot to be the next up and work. Many artists with talent expect everything to be handed to them and they don't really put in the work they need, and Flow is clearly much smarter than them. So if you want to get into Flow's music, I'd say if you want more turn or hype songs, I'd say listen to Playin' It Cool, Want Beef, Illegal Guns, NBA Flow, Back From My Ends, or Today. If you want a more chill vibe, I'd say listen to Mud Brother, Bad Vibe, or Money Man. Of course, he has a lot of other great songs, but that's where I'd personally start. Well, that's all I got for today's video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. This video took a lot of work, and I really appreciate it. If you like this video, check out the others in the end card. They're pretty similar, and that's all I got for y'all today. Thanks for watching, and peace out.